Hello, folks, and welcome back to the speed run and walkthrough for Chris Sawyer's Locomotion. We're making some progress here. We're continuing on with our expert stages, and today, well, we have a pretty interesting one for you here. It's Dodecan Diaries, or Dodecan Diaries. I'm not sure how you say it. This is not a fun stage, and I'm going to let you know why. So, as usual, we're going to do a quick overview of the map here. This is a fixed map. We're starting here in January of 1940, and this is a very, very unique stage. Um, as you can tell, it's a island sort of map, kind of like U Island, and I think Cyclade Capers was like this, or man, I might be getting mixed up now. Keystone Keys was definitely like this. However, unlike these other scenarios that, although they didn't have a lot of land, they still had lots of opportunity for commerce and industry transport. The industries on this map are extremely sparse, and what makes things worse is that the production and the recipient industries are not even close to one another. So I'm going to refer to these islands here just by our starting orientation. So up here, this is the main island. This is the westerly island. This is where all of the recipient industries are. So we've got food processing plants, we've got breweries, we've got flour mills here on the shorelines. Another one's right here. Yes, we do have a couple of industries that produce these grain farms here. Um, we're going to touch on why these are not so great in just a little bit. But if we look elsewhere around the map, we see that the bulk of the production facilities, livestock farms, wheat farms, they're all on these other islands here. So what makes this so challenging? Well, as you might expect, if we were to look at any of these industries, 330 tons of grain sounds awesome. 330 tons, yeah, it's just absolutely not the case. Even some of the livestock farms, I think, are a little falsified. Uh, these are not even close to what the actual values are. They are much, much smaller. And to make matters worse, the production is very heavily influenced by the service and the preference that you get, like your station ratings. Don't know if that's a typical mechanic in this game, but it seems immensely more sensitive in this stage than I have seen in other stages. So we're going to talk about techniques for getting that like pretty well established as we go. Well established meaning how we deal with it. Another important thing to note here is that some of these industries will be targeted by competing companies, and for some reason on this stage, and I can't explain or figure out quite why, for some reason, these companies just get an unfair advantage with the preference on their station ratings. We'll be able to observe that as time goes on, but my advice for this stage is when that happens and you start noticing that your railway lines or whatever it is you're using to transport is no longer profitable, you need to identify a time to get out, leave, and sell everything and put your money towards something else. That brings me to sort of my next point here. Let's talk about the objective. So, achieve a company value of $1 million and be the top performing company. Sounds reasonable enough. So, what does company value mean? I don't actually have the calculation here for company value, but a big thing that it factors in is your profit from vehicles and, very importantly, your the amount of money you're spending versus your total amount of income. So if you're just spending lots of money on construction and you're not recouping those investments, your company value is going to go way down. In fact, it's not atypical for you to see your company value of $0, especially in the winter months when, as you may guess, a lot of these industries produce next to no units of cargo. Especially some of these farms, they just go like way, way, way down. Your stations see significantly less productivity of goods at the, not goods, the actual units, but units of cargo at the platform, and you're just not going to get as much income. You need to plan for that, and you need to be prepared for sometimes making your trains skip a stop or make a delivery a little bit sooner, just so that you keep that income rolling in. Uh, And again, company value focused scenario, it's all about the money. Our goal is to get this loan as low as possible. It's going to be difficult for us to do that until we've built up a lot of industry and transit throughout the level as we go on. But it does also mean that we're going to need to pinch some pennies, and we're going to talk just about that. One last thing to make you all aware of, just with the sort of dynamics of how this scenario evolves, is that there are a handful of industries that pop up over time. Usually, there is a farm of sorts at Brownwell. I think it's usually a livestock farm. Sometimes it could be right here. Sometimes it could be on the backside of the island, which would really suck because we want to ultimately get it to one of these food processing plants. There will also be a farm that pops up somewhere here around Fillingway. This one is usually a livestock farm. It's usually sort of right in this like valley here where there's this river cutting through. At some point, we will need to look at these industries and evaluate whether they're going to actually be difference makers for us. Now, what do I mean by difference maker? I just mean is it producing significantly more than the other industries in the area. A livestock farm somewhere in this area is absolutely worth it to pursue and even to possibly sell some of your other transit to get a line up and running if it is producing more than the other industries on this island. So I can give you a couple of spoilers here, more in depth. This Kimball Pool farm gets up to about maybe like 60 tons of grain, and that's kind of it, which is not a whole lot. The Eagly farm only ever gets up between like 30 to 35, even in the summer. So these are just not lucrative. You can't even justify putting a train here because the train's going to take too long to fill up. It's much more expensive than trucks. And if we need to, we will throw down a couple of roadways and some trucks to just kind of boost our income, especially like in the lower seasons. I believe we have access to, we should have access to the second generation of trucks here right off the bat. So we do have some good options. Cattle trucks become available a little bit later, but for where the cattle farms are, it's not going to really make a lot of sense. So that's just about it as far as what to expect to happen throughout the stage. And I want to talk a little bit before we actually get into construction about what we're actually going to be doing here. So my strategy is I'm going to be focusing on these two farms here, the Brownwell farm and the Kimberley farm, because they are pretty close to these flour mills here in Waterson. And we're going to double up and use some of the same tracks. And yes, we're going to be doing a little bit of micro. I don't like doing that in this game. I like it to be hands-off. But again, this is a really tough level, so we're going to see what happens. Do what we need to do to win. Waterson flour mills is going to be what we target. I don't recommend actually starting from any of these other industries just simply because you will run out of all of your money. We'll take a quick look at what our max loan. I think it's somewhere around like 200,000. Oh no, maybe 300,000. Yeah, so this is what you get, I guess, in 1940. It is very functional with the whole rest of the game, so no surprises here really on what your loan could be. We're going to start out with about 190,000, and again, I don't want to ever borrow more than I need because I don't want to get hit with lots of loan interest and get penalized for that. So we're going to try to build quickly, and we're going to try to save money. Now, how are we going to save money here with these two initial train lines? Well, we could just plop down a whole bunch of track. That's going to cost us $960 dollars per segment here. Now, if we were to build this track just on land, it only costs us $206. So that's a difference of about $750, $760. That's just for the bridge. Now, of course, if our bridge is built on higher up land here, so this should be like negative 16 feet from sea level for one unit down. This is minus 32 feet below sea level, so the bridge costs a little bit more. So for the majority of this trip or this route, we're going to be we're going to be spending anywhere in the neighborhood of $750 to $760 just for the bridge. Now, if we were to not put down a bridge, we'd be saving that money, which is tremendous. So how could we save that money? Well, we can simply raise and lower the land. As you can see, it costs $282 here to raise or lower the land, and it's going to be per tile. So to go from minus 32 feet all the way up to the top, it's going to be 282 times 2, which is about, I guess, what, $564 to move the land. So if you're tracking, that's a savings of about $180 to $190. Don't worry, I did do a lot of this math ahead of time. I'm not that sharp. So we're saving about $190 to $200 per tile of track, per block that we actually lay, by raising the land 2 tiles and building at sea level instead of building this bridge and keeping the tracks where we're at. What does this mean in practice for us? Well, we're going to try to reuse the same track for both of these farms, and we'll deal with that as things go. But it means for this route, I believe it's somewhere about like 100-ish blocks, maybe like 90 to 100 blocks. So the savings, the net savings is going to be anywhere from about $18,000 to $20,000. I don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but that is actually a critical amount of money. If we think about burning through, or if we were to burn through just this amount of money, a savings of $19,000 is 10% of this. And if you think about it, that's exactly the amount of interest we will pay over the course of our first year on this amount of loan. We will end up borrowing more than this, but it just kind of puts into perspective how much a little bit of attention to detail like that can actually save. So that's going to be our strategy. I'm going to try to rip through it as quickly as we can so that we do not lose too much on loan interest just through the building process. But that's going to be where we start out. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we're going to do here is start getting our land in order, and we'll just pick the farthest tile out for us to start on. So that's 4 in each direction. And we're just going to go ahead and do this. Oh, and actually, real quick, I'm going to drop down my initial loan because it is going to take quite a bit of time. We'll start with 65,000. That should be pretty close. And yeah, we're gonna just come right through here. Now, it does suck that if a tile is not exactly level, like if it goes like this one here was a little bit bent, I'll say, you do have to pay twice. But my calculation from earlier about that $20-ish thousand savings does apply, or it factored in moving these up 2 at a time. Oops. Oh man, I'm missing all over the place. 19th, we've got some time. Again, I just want to make sure that my loan is not too high at the time we get our loan through. Now, this is a interesting spot. I'm gonna actually invest in moving the land here. It's not like a depreciating cost or anything, but I want to do this now because I want to see sort of where this comes over. It's kind of hard to visualize, so it should be right around here, but I don't want to like screw that up. So I'm just gonna raise a couple of these tiles so it's easier for me to see at least where I'm heading. And once again, this is to get us to that other farm, the Kimberly farm. I'm going to actually pay my loan down here so we have less interest. And we should be, oops, no, not yet, not yet. All right, now we're into February. Great. I think we avoided a little bit of a bigger bill there. We'll see. Oh, that's actually important. So livestock farm near Eastburg. That's way the hell away. That's not going to help us out at all. Let's get back to it over here. I will need a bigger intersection, of course, for the I will need a bigger intersection for the what do you call them? The turn. But at this point, I'm just trying to mark out where I want to go here. And the reason is I like to sort of come through here and take up as much advantage as I can of the sort of elevated this elevated area under the water, just because it's going to again be about $284 savings every time I don't have to go up two as opposed to one, so even more potential savings there. We come in through right here, that will eventually hit the uh, flour mill. We're going to go in a little deeper than we need to, and we will add on to our land expense there because it is going to ultimately give us a little bit of a better profit. So let's just size this up. We're going to come in somewhere about like here or so, I would say, because we'd want to take advantage of as much of this as possible. In fact, I'd really like to be sort of like going through it right here. So I'm just going to mark these off. Oh dear. Lost a couple of bucks there. Not a huge deal. Could you could you do more like turns and stuff? Yeah, I suppose you could. Keep in mind that turns are much more expensive and require a lot more land to set up, like any kind of curved track, I should say. Oh, I got distracted thinking about my dates. Pay back a little bit just in case we miss it. Who am I kidding? Oh, well, there it goes. We're into March, so we paid maybe a little bit more. We could have saved a tiny bit more money, but not the worst thing in the world. Now we're back to here. We might actually be a little off. Might have to taper the tracks in a little bit. That won't be a big deal. It'll be a couple of dollars. See where we're at here. All right, so we missed by a tiny bit. Not a huge deal. Should hit it right there. Perfect. And we're going to build this very quick. Oh, you know what? Actually, we totally did not get the rest of our land situated here. So I want to make sure, once again, that I'm getting this right. This row is pretty easy to visualize. So it'll be to right here. Again, I'll work on getting the correct amount of land figured out for the curve. All right, and we should generally be ready to start laying some heavier tracks here. As you can see, it's going to try to put this above the ground because you don't have the right layout, so to speak, to get it on the ground here, or get it on the track that we have just created. So there we are. That's exactly what we want. We want something similar over here, so we're going to do this middle section. It looks like is all we need, actually. All right, we'll just get these in place, and now we can start laying our big old tracks here. We just got into the next month. Ooh, new livestock farm in Fillingway. Let's take a quick gander at that. All right, so this one is interesting. It's kind of close to this food processing plant, but it might be pretty profitable if we could bring it down to the one closer to Eagly. We'll have to keep an eye on this one as the stage progresses, just to see if it ever becomes like super viable. But for now, we're gonna start building up some stuff over here. Right. And right down the pipe. And this should connect us. Now, with the question of how big do I make my stations? I don't think it matters too terribly much. I like to go with 5 cars here. I think it's a reasonable amount to factor in the reasonable amount of cargo you're actually going to have at any time at the station, along with, like, that's factoring in the production rate here, as well as the length of the trip. Now, eventually, we will even need to get second train on here. I'm not going to worry about that too much because I like to get my other train going, and we will get started right here. So I'm going to just give an extra segment a track just so that there's no shenanigans with the... Of course, we need some more cash. I just want to make sure that we're not going to be blocking up anything. I'm not going to even bother putting anything on the other side because I want the trains on that side to be able to just cruise on through and not get in the way of the trains that need to go and make their profit. Now, an interesting question here is how far do we actually build here? Well, it's costing us $290 dollars, I get, yeah, dollars per tile. I haven't done the math on this one. I don't know if the extra blocks here are actually going to be like worthwhile, but I think in general, you want it to be as long a trip as you can get, right? But you have to balance that with the cost of how much did it, like, how much was the construction to actually get that track laid. So that factors in the lands adjustment and all that. 9,000, that's not too bad. 43 days is a little long, but overall nothing awful. Terrific. Now I'm going to tell this train to go. It's not going to be very profitable, but I want to sort of deconflict this here because we're going to have to micro this quite a bit, but I'd like to avoid that as much as possible in the short term. So we've spent all this money. We still have plenty we can do on our loan here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw up one more line. This tram track right here, these two cities are fairly close, and it begs for a tram. It's a little too close to have a train. Train's not going to be profitable. This is $5.56 a month plus the cost of the passenger carriage, whereas a tram is $58 a month. It's electric. It couldn't be better. All right, we have income from our second train there. I'm just going to let the game run to the next month. All right, let's get this tram built. We'll get our passenger stuff going. Gonna come right down here. You can tell I might have done this route a couple times. Now, I did learn something quite interesting, which is that... all right, we'll get going. That is really sweet. What I learned is that the distance traveled by this by any unit is always based on the average or the center of the catchment area. So if you move the center of the catchment area farther back, you could actually generate more profit. So let's take a look at this tram here. It's doing 31 blocks as we see. Let's go ahead and, well, we'll wait till we make back a little bit of money. It's chipping away there. All right. So let's go ahead and move this back. So we're still at the 31 blocks. Let's go ahead and move this back as far as we can. See what happens. 31 blocks is now 32 blocks. Now, it's not going to be a lot, but this is an easy way to sort of cheat your way into getting a couple extra bucks out of every route. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, you don't actually have to pay for all these. You can delete them. So you only need to pay for like, uh-oh, that was a tree. Uh-oh, that was, oh, geez. Well, hopefully they don't like totally hate us. Our rating's probably awful. Not bad. Let's plant a couple trees in memoriam. How about now? 76%. We'll get that back up there. Anyway, if we check in here, we're now at 33 blocks. It's just going to make every trip a little bit more profitable. You can see our trains here are actually doing quite nice. This last one was in September. We're now in October. So we're doing as well as we can here. And again, the name of the game is let's not overexpand. I'm gonna just take a quick peek here. 155 items. Wow, that's terrific. And of course, this guy's taking advantage of that. Okay, we'll go ahead here. Keep an eye on our station ratings. Now, this is a little not ideal. We're going to have to move this train along. All right, plop it right back. We don't need this for the moment. I do like to keep the trains up here and just makes it a little faster. In case I need to do anything. This train is, well, we're in the sort of winter, so I'll just let this one go. I'll bring it back quickly. Pay down our loan. And once again, the name of the game here is really just get your company value up, and the way to do that is really, really just pay down the loan. We can just keep an eye on how much is getting produced. This one's definitely going to be able to go quicker. So we'll just have this go at a normal speed. Check in on this tram, if I could ever actually get it. So it's doing all right, $600 a month, nothing wrong with that. Just going to move this train just in case. And if you came for good railroad content, this might not be the video for you. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of this, unfortunately. So we're just going to be doing this quite a bit to make sure our trains are alleviated. Let's go. Oh, you know what? I should have let it wait. Take this back real quick. I'm going to stop this train. Actually, we could let this train go because we're going to be very attentive. Oh, it didn't make us the money. Oh, that was a misclick of epic proportions. Oh, well. You can see this train loads up very quickly. Like, we can very easily justify getting another train here. Gonna have this train just go. Of course, it breaks down on us. Train should be almost ready, so. Didn't misclick that time. To keep things moving quickly with that breakdown. Move it back. So this rating is going down quite a bit because the train is away for so long, but Now that we're a year in, I think we can start to identify some of the gaps that or some of the hardships that we will face with the way that station ratings go. These are gonna run into another sort of death match again. So we want this train to come through, waste less time. And we'll plop this train back. Terrific. All right, things are moving, things are moving. Oh no, bankruptcy. I know we've definitely talked about this before, but if you ever get these bankruptcy warnings, the only thing you need to do to avoid it is within 6 months, just have 2 months consecutive where you're not losing money. So really easy to do, and we're obviously paying down our loan a lot, so it's not very difficult. We just don't pay our loan all the way back. Let's take a quick look at these stations here. So you'll notice at Kimberly, whatever it is, it's only at 94%. Same thing at Kimberly Lakeside. So this is something that is, it might actually be a function of this game in general. I don't know if it's something specific to the, these trains, of course, are going to go at like the exact same time again. Rip. Oh, wow. I had them in the wrong spots. Of course, it might be, it might just be a function of this scenario, but the interesting thing I've noticed is that if you don't pay attention to this, you can very easily lose once competing companies try to come in and sculpt up the business over here, because they will. I mean, it's only a matter of time. The production here, yes, it ebbs and flows with the seasons, but it also is, it will go up overall over time. To keep up with that, what I've found is that you actually do need to refresh your trains every now and again. And I do mean like fully sell them and rebuy them. Everything, top to bottom, the cars, the locomotives, and all of that. This is so critically important. In fact, I probably should bookmark explaining this. I really don't know why this is. I've tried to look this up online, but it has nothing to do with how much you're servicing the station. I mean, we have trains that are just waiting here. All right, Kimberly, it's been a little bit longer, but these trains they've not left the station. They're still here. They're still servicing actively, but we hit this maximum. And I really do believe it has to do with the stations somehow preferring newer trains. Don't know why, but that's what it is. So once again, you see it's at Kimberly Lakeside. It's going down. This is the best we could do once we get our stuff back there. All right, so it is May. Let's see. We talked about avoiding bankruptcy. This train should be able to go. Not quite full, so we should be good there. Train hasn't left yet. No biggie. All right, we'll tell this train to go. So we're just going to let our loan sit there. We'll get rid of these, just get a little bit more screen real estate here. This is what we need to be looking at after all. Now I can sort of guess where this is going to go, so I'm going to drop my loan down a little bit. We saw like the whole first year, it was, well, we could actually do better math, right? 10% of $112,000 is about $11,000. Divide that by about 10 again for what our monthly is, and it's going to be about $1,000. So we really just need that amount. So I'm going to lower us a little bit. And we also didn't get the 3 months bankruptcy warning, so we're definitely fine. And we're almost done with our loan here, and that's going to give us a lot more flexibility. Oh, I did it again. Jeez, this is not a good day. This is the perils of microing too much in this game. This game is not meant to be microed. It's really not. Of course, well, yeah, it doesn't quite have everything, so I'm going to turn it around. If you turn a train around, it does maintain all of its cargo. It's just if you lift it off the tracks is when you're going to run into problems. It is amazing how much faster this train fills up than the other. And that's a really awkward situation. We're going to do something fun here. This is extremely dangerous. Do not try this at home. I just want to let this train get a little bit closer, but not to worry. We're not going to allow any crashes here. Train can go, this train can flop and turn around, and it's all good things. Bring it right back. Over to here, checking it out. Yeah, this train one just goes way faster. Of course, breakdowns do happen. Have this train go now to avoid any situations. All right, not the worst thing in the world. A little bit of delay. I'm trying to just see how hands-off I could be, because I'd love to be able to not micro this all the damn time. But not exactly the way of life sometimes. So we're in 1943 now. We should have even a lower maximum. Yeah, so I think another one was 91, and we're already down to 89. So not great there either, but we're still not at risk of losing our competition. Another thing that we could take a look at is the percentage of the crop that was transited. And we could see how that goes. So 56% and 61% respectively for each of these farms. And like you can see, like we're keeping the station well serviced. It's not like this is even a crappy rating either. Stuff is still pouring onto the platform. It's just we're not we might not be getting as much as we can. So yeah, up to 61%. All right, didn't misclick that time. Now we are kind of at a time where we've paid down most of our loan. We could start thinking about what another opportunity could be. 159 items of livestock. This is actually tremendous, and I'd love to get in the game with this. The thing is, this company took a lot of really good segments here, and we don't really have an opportunity to get in their face and interrupt their transit, but their rating is not great, and we definitely have an opportunity to beat them on that front with trains servicing the station a lot more regularly, and also not having stuff sitting on the platform for that much time. So I'm gonna go ahead and invest in a little bit of micro reduction, which is gonna be I'm gonna add a another spot where trains can pass each other. I'm going to do that about right here. I know that's going to be a little bit more expensive, but what I like to do in the future is actually create a separate, I could also get rid of a couple of these. I could also create a separate station so that two trains could come in at the same time. In fact, I will do that as well, just in the short term. We need a little more money. All right, so we actually need it out there, unfortunately. So 2 more out there. Oh, I guess we had 1 more we could do. Oh, well. Well, actually, this is good because this allows us to put a signal here and actually block off those segments of track so that a train can hang out in there. That's unfortunate. Train 1 goes right back here. Oops. I'll keep that money taken out. So I'll pick like right here. We'll take advantage of the little bit of extra elevation that we have. How much is a good amount here to create for like a passing lane? I don't really know. I think the general rule of thumb of like one train length is good, and these trains are 6 blocks long per our station. So we want to have 6 blocks in the middle. We need to have 2 on either side for the curve, and I'd like to have at least 1 additional so that we can get a signal on there and not have any like weirdness with blocking going on. So something like this should give us 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's perfect. It lets us have these 2 signals here. Whoops, and that's actually wrong. I don't make this so difficult to delete. You may have heard me complain about this. So again, I want trains to be able to evacuate from here easily. So I'm actually going to make this sort of the priority lane, or not the priority lane, but the smaller block to get out, and make sure that trains that are waiting have as much opportunity. So I actually have 7 blocks here to play with. And I actually shouldn't need to... oh, look at that. We're done with our loan. Good job. Good job. Now we should be able to see some of this in action here. Well, not there, of course, because that's not exactly ideal, but let's actually see what we've done. So this train's going to come. This one should be waiting at the station or in the sort of switchback area. But yeah, they can go through, and everybody's happy. Our rating is still fine here. As long as this doesn't get below 50, I am not concerned. Ooh, it's getting down there. Yeah, stuff's still coming in, but not that great. So we'll have to get this guy to do a bit of a faster trip next time. This is telling us, though, that it is time to also invest in an additional train on these tracks here. So we might have to actually just make this into a more full fleshed out, like 2-way railroad. Yeah, you can see this train can actually come through. There should be enough room here where this train will get into the station, and it will let this train continue to pass. It's going to be kind of close, but this train enters the block right here, and this train is still waiting. So we might need an extra block. That's actually not horrible. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I'll do that as a reminder that that's all we need for the trains, but we still need the stations where they are. That is train 1, all right. All right. According to our finances, our company value is doing quite well. We're 50% of the way there. Our company value should be fluctuating kind of massively, but you could see we're trending in the right direction. We do have sort of this cyclical process with the seasons and especially with construction. But this whole period of growth we had last summer, I guess, um, that's all purely because we didn't build anything. And if we look at our actual like finances up against the same time periods, like we made so much money and we didn't build anything. Built a little bit here, so obviously company value went down. This is sort of the name of the game. It's be cheap, save your pennies, pay off your loan. 65 there, 90 there. We should be totally fine. Not even worried about getting the other train in a good spot. I literally just want this train to come back quickly so we can keep our rating high. And we should be capped out at like, yeah, 84 now. It's got to be something like every year with the train. So I'm not going to bother replacing this locomotive just yet until we have a little bit more confidence in like the need to do it, because we're still doing just fine with everything else. But I am really tempted to get into the game over here. Still 60 items of livestock in the winter. That's not bad at all. And only 26% transported, so we have a really good opportunity to get our foot in the doors here. So I'm going to go ahead and get things started. By the time we're done constructing this, it should be the springtime, and there should be a lot more cattle ready for harvesting. So it should be good. Before I actually do that and start paying loan interest, which I do not want to do, I'm going to go ahead and sort of scout out where we want our tracks to be. We're going to definitely suspension bridge this. Suspension bridge, as you know, does not change the price no matter how high it goes. So this is the same price everywhere. Steel brick bridge is always going to cost more or less based on whatever the height is. So at the sort of inflection point, we want to make sure that we don't have we switch over from our regular brick bridge to the suspension bridge, of course. So we're going to need to come in. Livestock farm is here. Just looking at this, not sure actually. This is a little bit of an awkward spot. We might need to come in over the ground here, and it looks like it goes down to minus. Check out, make sure everybody's behaving. All right, it looks good. We might need to come down. Whoops, where is it? Yeah, might need to come over the water. So I just want to be prepared for that. That means our max height with the suspension bridge is 288. 288 minus 32 is 256. So 256 is sort of what we want to target. Let's see where we're at here. 256. It's going to be tricky to get it over this area because we do need to come in a little bit there. We could always like do one tile to go down. I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, and we'll need to be at least at like 270 or something to get over the road here. So let's not fret too much. Let's see, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to roll the dice and hope that that nicks it. Very close. Yep, perfect. Can actually build out a little bit this way. And why not save a couple of bucks here? So our target price is $12.30, so we should hit that pretty soon. All right, so now it's going to be better to do suspension bridge. I'm going to cut across now, and yes, this is going to be very expensive. Check our services over here. All looks good. I want to cut across so that I could sort of be right in line with where I need to come in for the farm here. So just to size things up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So didn't want to do that. Oh well. Basically parallel with over here, this very last cut over is where we want to be. That might be a little tricky, but I mean, it might actually even be cheaper just to kind of come around here, or even maybe go around the, in this perspective, the north side of that food processing plant, and then shoot this way. Decisions. Let's opt for the shortest path. It's gonna end up making us a little bit more money in the long run. All right, here we are. Still at 320, so we are going to need to go down a little bit, it will seem. Oh, right. We have a couple choices. We could, well, we kind of have to raise the land here. I don't want to hemorrhage too much money, but we've kind of sealed our fate with these bridges. There's just not a lot of good return on investment here. It's just so awkward with where we have to go. You know, I almost feel like just doing this and going back to suspension bridge. And yeah, we'll get stuck there, but that's fine. We don't need this. Kind of tough to find this block where we need to go. There is no good angle here. This is ridiculous. Is it this? Nope, we're throwing all our money away. Oh my goodness. It's so hard to see anything. I'm making an executive decision to come back here. It's just going to be too painful otherwise. Alright, what's a couple more bucks between friends? Try to get this a little bit lower. All right. Let's try a very cheeky thing. Oh, it double. That's so obnoxious. All right, so we just need a little bit. We got to get a little bit closer here. Are we there? Oh, we're nearly there. There we go. All right. A little annoying, but such is life. Start with 10. That should be fine. Buy some locomotives. That should be plenty. It fits. Terrific, terrific. And we're already way higher than the rating over here, so I have no concerns about any of that other crap. We might as well recoup a little bit of our investment. Our catchment area should still be just fine. Still got livestock, that is sweet. And there we go. Make sure these trains are going well. Oh, would you look at that? Perfect, just like we drew it up even. Just enough room to fit. So maybe we need a little bit more than the 6 there, just as a idea. The livestock coming back at a decent clip. Ah, that is really upsetting that we missed. So it's gonna just take a little while to unload, unfortunately. So we may need another car here because it looks like we're gonna get all this livestock and then turn around, come right back. And for the winter, this should be yeah, it should be less. $64 items. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna need another car on there. We could invest in another train. I just don't think it's fully worth it. Let's go 3 more segments. Oh, you can go. Sorry. Let's grab 1 more livestock wagon, and that should do us in. The 13 days is terrific. If we have to wait much longer than that, livestock do tend to depreciate. Looks like we're still waiting, so not all that bad. Yeah, but just to take a quick look here, livestock, they kind of get sour after like 30, 40 days. Other than that, not too horrible. All right, so we're still sitting pretty here. Emily, it looks like we're just barely staying above the high water mark. What I sure would love to do soon is replace this locomotive, but I'm trying hard to just keep the loan down and not spend money where we don't have to. How many days was that? 39 days. Yeah, you could see the drop off a little bit there. For 88 items, it was still kind of low. So we just have to be a little careful, cognizant of that. We'll keep an eye on it. Other than that, we're still on Loan Simulator. Basically as good as it gets. I mean, that livestock train was huge for us. And this extra segmented track is definitely making life a little easier. Would you look at that? Perfection. Uh-oh. Losing a little bit of grain there. So yeah, it's probably about that time to consider second train, just to keep this good, because we don't want this farm to start giving us less. All right, so let's get chugging over here. We're gonna do blocks of 12. I might end up just making this like a fully separate line if we need to, but again, we're not quite at that point yet. Oh, that wasn't even close. That's awful. I'm going to need to actually redo that. That sucks. How'd I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Huh, weird. I must have screwed something up. All of our trains waiting here. Train's coming back. All good things. It's just a little close for comfort there. I'll wait till this train goes, and now's not even a great time because it's gonna be the winter pretty soon. Gonna get this train out of the way. It appears we have a signaling issue. Odd. I guess it doesn't fully fit in those blocks there. Let's go ahead and fix that. Never really noticed that before. That's quite unfortunate. Anyway, let's go ahead and buy us a new train. Oh boy. Now, there are 80 tons here, so we're not going to see this immediately, but something cool is going to happen. You just watch. And of course, this train is going to have to wait. It's not the grandest situation there, but something. Oh, we didn't even give it a route. How much did it actually take? 83 tons? Not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah, let's have a look here. Kimberly, we should be able to get up to 84. Yeah, so we're at 84. And the question is, how much do you have? 47. 97. All right, you go ahead. So we have 84 over here. Train just gonna wait. Is this train rolling? What's going on? Taking a long time. It is the off season, that is fair. This one took 76 days after all. I'm just gonna have this train move so we can take a look at this. So we're at 84% here. Let's see what happens when this new train comes into the station. It's going up? What? Yes, folks, it does turn out that having a newer locomotive, as you can see here, is actually keeps your rating, your maximum possible rating higher. I don't know if that's a function of the game or what, but this should allow us to get more preference when another company tries to come in, which should be kind of soon. I mean, not sure what's going on. This has been kind of a cakewalk here. Yeah, let's actually see what happens when this next locomotive comes back. So we see it's going down, and this train is loading. It's actively loading, and our rating's still going down, and it's going to keep going down all the way down to that 94%. So what can we do? Well, as a general housekeeping thing, we can replace this locomotive, which I'm going to do right now. However, to illustrate a point, I'm going to grab just a new locomotive. So the rest of the train is still there. Now look, the reliability of these two trains, did I just buy a whole new train? Oh, right. No, train 4 is the more recent one. So this train is ever so slightly lower reliability, which is Oh, you know what? It's got to be because of the age of the cars. So if we, no, wait, what am I saying? Train 4 is the one that we just bought. So train 1 has the highest reliability. So, but once again, we see the rating going down. So it is, in fact, due to the not just the locomotive, but the entire train. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and scrap the whole train, grab a new one, and we should be good from there. All right, let's get us a new one. Oh, not trying to build on this one. What are we waiting for? All right, that signal block. All right. So as you can see, our company value is still climbing. Having the $0 loan is really helping. I'd like to actually see what our maximum loan could be. Low-hanging fruit, might as well. Yeah, so our maximum here is now 100%. It could be a good time to replace this one as well. There's just not a whole lot going there. The only thing we'd really be doing there is helping with breakdowns. This tram, though, I believe is quite horrible. So I hope I didn't screw that up. Yeah, still 2 passengers. Let's go ahead and get us a new tram. I have to put it on this side, of course. Always set your first destination to be not where your tram is going so that it actually makes a stop and picks up the passengers. Goes with buses as well. Do. Oh, made its money, all right. And it's time to sell. Let's get us a new train. Turn it around, go ahead. Wait for full load, and away we go. And we're sitting pretty here. We should be done quite soon. 35 items of livestock. We could tell this train to just kind of go a little quicker. We don't want it to wait forever. Oops. We do want it to make its delivery though, so we'll that. I'm just gonna, well, see if the more I build, the more it's gonna lower my company value, and we're just so close here. What we could consider is, all right, I wanted to see what our maximum possible loan is because there is a crazy route that we could possibly entertain with enough cash. And it looks like we've got it, which is terrific. So I am going to really break the bank, and we're just going to put this thing to bed very quickly. So remember I said it doesn't really make sense to start out with any of these like crazy long routes all the way across. Well, 217 tons of grain is, to borrow a phrase from Michael Scott, nothing to be truffled with. And the great news is we can bring this right over to this grain farm right here. We can now get a total of $500,000 toward this construction. I believe the total will only be in the neighborhood of like 400-ish thousand, and that's just building it like this, right? Well, we would use the brick bridge on same price, whatever. Well, looks like we didn't even need that. Maybe I'll do that for fun, just to see in another video. But yeah, there you have it. Not a clean one, not a fun one either. So apologize about that, folks. But we came in just under an hour here. We had plenty of productivity out of our couple of trains here. We didn't go too crazy, but As you can see, very, very profitable trains. This train too. Oh, you know, it's because it's the winter. It's not making any money. Oh, it's also because we literally just bought it. It hasn't made any transits. So this is all we did, a couple trains, the one tram, and that was it. That was all it took to get our company value just up to $1 million. We just barely snuck it in there. But that's all you need to do on this level, folks. This was kind of a cakewalk because we did not have the competition on this other farm here, which is kind of odd. It's like the AIs went easy on us. I don't know why. But if that does happen, the words of advice are to make sure your trains are as new as possible so you can maintain this 100% rating. Additionally, let's move, well, train 2 doesn't matter. Additionally, you want to definitely make sure that you have your other train sitting kind of just like this, because this way it can swoop right in. The rating never goes down, and as long as your trains are less than a year old, I think you will maintain the 100%. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you in the next one. We're going to continue on with our expert stages here. We're going to have actually my favorite one of the game, Mixing Muscle. We actually get to see some of the later, or the more late game sort of units, buses, really nice trains. This is North America, so oh no, it's not North America. I made a mistake. This is Great Britain, so we get to see a lot of Great Britain style locomotives, which should be pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you in the next one.